The Gurney family of Norwich was an influential family of English Quakers that established Gurney's Bank in 1770 and had a major influence on the development of Norwich. The bank merged into Barclays in 1896. Members of the family still live in the United Kingdom today. History. The Gurneys were descendants of Hugh de Gurney, Lord of Gurney, one of the Norman noblemen who accompanied William the Conqueror to England. Large grants of land were made to Hugh de Gurney in Norfolk and Suffolk, and a younger branch of this ancient family held certain manors in Norfolk in the time of King Henry II. In the 17th century, John Gurney left his hometown of Malden for Norwich to live and work among the Quakers of the city. Arriving in Norwich in 1667, he became active in the woolen trade. In 1687 he married Elizabeth Swanton of Woodbridge, by whom he had 8 children. He died as a wealthy man in 1721 and was buried in the old Dutch garden that the Friends had bought as the burial ground. The Gilden Croft of Buttercup Field, on the land John Gurney had been given to tend when he first arrived in Norwich. His sons John and Joseph continued in the woolen trade through businesses in St. Augustine Street and Magdalen Street, respectively. Both brothers married and had numerous children. John Gurney's sons, John and Henry, gradually added banking transactions to the woolen trade. In 1770 they entered into partnership and formally established Gurney's Bank in 35 Tully Street in Norwich. When Henry died in 1777, he was succeeded by his son Bartlett, who also took over his uncle John's responsibilities and moved the banking business to Redwell Plain in Norwich. The Quaker Bank became renowned for its honesty, reliability and fair dealings, and so people entrusted the Gurney family with the money for safekeeping. Bartlett Gurney was married twice, but died childless at Coltishall, Norfolk. In 1802, he was succeeded in control of the bank by Richard and John Gurney, grandsons of Joseph Gurney. Richard was married to a daughter of David Barclay, another Quaker merchant and banker. The 6 children included Anna Gurney, the Old English scholar, and Hudson Gurney, who later inherited a fortune from his father and acted as the head of the Norwich Gurney family. He became MP for Newtown in 1816, a Fellow of the Royal Society in 1818 and High Sheriff of Norfolk in 1835. He lived at Keswick Hall near Norwich and in St. James's Square, London. He remained childless, and his fortune was inherited mostly by John Henry Gurney Sr. John Gurney and his wife lived at Earlham Hall in Norwich, which they rented from the Bacon family. They had 13 children, of whom several died young. Those who survived included the bankers Samuel Gurney and Daniel Gurney, the social reformers Elizabeth Fry and Joseph John Gurney, while Hannah married Sir Thomas Buxton. Another sister was Louisa Hoare, the writer on education. In the 19th century, the Gurney family was known for its wealth. In Gilbert and Sullivan's 1875 comic opera Trial by Jury, a character describes his accumulation of wealth until at length they became as rich as the Gurneys. On John Gurney's death in 1809, his son Samuel Gurney assumed the control of Gurney's Bank in Norwich. About the same time, he also took over control of the London bill-brooking business of Richardson, Overend and Amp Company, whose title was subsequently changed to Overend, Gurney and Company. It went on to become the world's largest discounting house for 40 years until it failed 10 years after Samuel Gurney's death, in 1866, with liabilities of £11 million. The failure of Overend, Gurney and Company ruined a number of the Gurneys, as well as numerous investors. Gurney's bank in Norwich, however, escaped significant damage to business and reputation from the collapse of the London bill-brooking business. The Times stated, "It is understood that the suspension of Overend, Gurney and Amp Co. will not in the slightest degree compromise Gurney's Bank of Norwich. That establishment recently passed into the hands of new partners, whose resources are beyond all question." Gurney's bank in Norwich was at the time in the hands of Samuel Gurney's brother Daniel Gurney and Joseph John Gurney's son John Henry Gurney Sr. The latter had inherited Hudson Gurney's fortune in 1864. He later made his home Northmetpit, near Cromer, where he pursued ornithology. His son, John Henry Gurney Jr., was also an ornithologist, and his great-great-grandson, Henry Richard Gurney of Heggett Hall, has continued that family tradition. Besides managing his banking business, Daniel Gurney served as High Sheriff of Norfolk in 1853 and took an interest in archaeology and genealogy. In 1848 he printed in 2 volumes for private circulation an elaborate work entitled The Record of the House of Gurney, to which he added a supplement in 1858. Daniel Gurney was married to a daughter of William Hay, 17th Earl of Errol, and lived near Northampton, Norfolk. The son Charles Henry Gurney graduated from Trinity College, Cambridge, married a daughter of Henry Toby Prinsep, and later became a partner in Saunderson's Bank, London. The Gurneys remained active in banking until 1896, when 11 private banks controlled by Quaker families joined together under the name Barclays to meet the competition of the joint stack banks. The largest component parts were Barclay Bevan Ransom, Triton Bouverie and Amp Co. of Lombard Street in the City of London, Backhouses Bank and Gurney's Bank. The principal seats of the Gurney family were Earlham Hall and Keswick Hall near Norwich, as well as Heggett Hall and Northampton. Earlham Hall is today occupied by the Norwich Law School, a part of the University of East Anglia. Keswick Hall accommodated a teacher training college prior to being converted into apartments. Many members of the Gurney family are buried in the Guild and Croft Quaker Cemetery, Norwich, and some in Keswick Hall Saints Churchyard, near Norwich, as well as in Intwood Churchyard, also near Norwich. Genealogy. John Gurney married in 1687 Elizabeth Swanton and had with her 8 children, including John and Joseph, from whom the banking Gurneys are descended. John's sons founded the bank in 1770 and were succeeded by his grandson Bartlett. After Bartlett Gurney's death in 1802, his cousins took over the business. John Gurney Infinity 1709 Elizabeth Haddock and had 12 children, including John Gurney, founder of Gurney's Bank. Henry Gurney, founder of Gurney's Bank Infinity 1749 Elizabeth Bartlett and had 7 children, including Bartlett Gurney Infinity 1780 Hannah Chapman and Infinity Mary Cockell, but did not have children. Joseph Gurney Infinity 1713 Hannah Middleton and had 10 children, including John Gurney Infinity 1739 Elizabeth Kett and had 12 children, including Richard Gurney Infinity 1773 Agatha Barclay daughter of David Barclay, and Infinity 1779 Rachel Hanbury, and had 6 children, including Hudson Gurney Infinity 1809 Margaret Barclay Allardyce, Anna Gurney, Old English scholar John Gurney Infinity 1775 Catherine Bell, and had 13 children, including Elizabeth Gurney Infinity 1800 Joseph Fry, Hannah Gurney Infinity Sir Thomas Buxton, 1st Baronet Louisa Gurney Infinity 1806 Samuel Hoare, Samuel Gurney Infinity 1808 Elizabeth Shepherd, and had 9 children, including Catherine Catherine Gurney Infinity 1836, Sir Edward Buxton, 2nd Baronet, and had 8 children. Samuel Gurney Infinity Ellen Reynolds, Rev. John Gurney Infinity 1842 Laura Elizabeth Pearson had 5 children, including Catherine Gurney Infinity 1869, Frederick Lubbock, and had 7 children, including Percy Lubbock. John Gurney Infinity 1871 Isabel Blake Humphrey, and had 5 sons and 2 daughters, including Sir Eustace Gurney, father-in-law of Brigadier Arnold de Lerison Cazenove, thus grandfather of actor Christopher Cazenove. Sir Hugh Gurney, a diplomat. Robert Gurney Infinity Sarah Gamzu Garstang, sister of Walter Garstang, and had 1 child. Oliver Gurney Joseph John Gurney Infinity 1817 Jane Burke Beckand Infinity 1827 Mary Fowler and Infinity 1841 Eliza Paul Kirkbride, and had 3 children, including John Henry Gurney Sr. Infinity 1846 Mary Jarian had 2 children, including John Henry Gurney Jr. Infinity 1876 Margaret Jane Gurney, and had issue, including Agatha Gurney Infinity Sir Edward Ruggles Bryce, 1st Baronet. Daniel Gurney Infinity 1822 Lady Harriet Jemima Hay, daughter of William Hay, 17th Earl of Errol, and had 9 children, including Charles Henry Gurney Infinity 1861 Alice Prinsep, daughter of Sir Henry Toby Prinsep, and had issue. Books about the family. Augustus John Cuthbert Hare, The Gurneys of Earlham. Percy Lubbock, Earlham. Verley Anderson, Friends and Relations. This is a detailed family history of the Gurney family, using information from family records. Verley Anderson, Northreps, Her Children. Northreps is a large manor house near Cromer, Norfolk, England that has been occupied by the same family for more than 8 generations. This family now has thousands of members, many of whom have made the mark on British society. Notable are Thomas Fowell Buxton, of slave emancipation fame, and Elizabeth Fry, the social reformer. For the Buxton, Barclay and Gurney families, Northreps has been a central focus for many years, and Verley Anderson recalls life at the house, providing a close-up account of family life through the eyes of the many children that used the house over generations.